We are happy to announce that this episode of the SW Show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights. Maybe it's Mike camera. Maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out. Rolling.
There we go. I peeked mine. So
I think you picked mine too.
that was a loud clap, by the way.
That was a very loud clap. I think you might have scared Rich.
That was a big one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Movie Club. As Mike is sipping his wild turkey, whatever it is.
It is Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Just so people are aware, that is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It is barrel proof. Master Distillery Jimmy Russell. We would like to shout out to Mr. Jimmy Russell. He's supporting us at the whatever this bottle costed here.
Probably like $40.
I think it's actually my friend Tyler gonna meet tomorrow actually gave it to me in honor of when my grandma died. That was his gift was this bottle actually. But yeah, I think it's about a $40 bottle. I don't think he spent hundreds. So.
Yeah, no. Also, it's almost empty.
This is true. We really fucked it up the first time, to be honest here.
It's also special because we are doing this live in person. I'm currently sitting in Mike's basement.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our whiskeys here.
That look at.
That is really good. And we are here to talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
Gotta make sure I get the whole name in there. Somebody will get mad.
I want to point out, so you obviously have met Rich so far. He thought it was just. No, you thought it was just Wakanda Forever, didn't you?
Yeah, I initially thought that they had kind of dropped the Black Panther
Moniker.
the moniker of it because all the stuff you were seeing was Wakanda Forever.
So it is really funny to me that how now, as we'll get to the film in a second, how Marvel Studios is now. They're like, Marvel Studios, ... sub-franchise, ... film and sub-franchise.
Yo, it's ridiculous at this point. It's like, we saw a preview for Ant-Man and the Wasp, so it's Marvel Studios presents
Ant-Man and the Wasp, which you're forgetting. The franchise wasn't originally called Ant-Man and the Wasp. The first one's just called Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Then the second one's called And the Wasp. I didn't realize they're keeping the Wasp for the...
So it's Ant-Man and the Wasp, or subtitle, Quantumania. So this is Marvel Studios presents Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Directed by Ryan Coogler, like before. Yep. I actually don't have notes in front of me, so we're gonna eyeball this one a bit. Yeah. Let's see.
Quite possibly.
Don't tell me you're going to think it's the longest film. There's no way this is.
No, that's not what I
Endgame, I was going to say.
I know Endgame's the longest. No, what I was going to say is quite possibly the most impactful tribute they've done. Marvel's done.
Yeah, this.
Even more so than like the Stan Lee stuff.
I was about to say the Stan Lee stuff's up there, but this one is. Yeah, because even like. The way they cut to the title card, and like we think of like Endgame's cutting the title card where it's them like cutting to a super light song and like showing it super solemnly. This was silence. Yeah. Like it was literally title card silence.
It was what, probably 20 minutes?
I don't think it was that deep. It was probably like 10, 15.
It was a decent amount of time.
But it being dead silent, I think threw me off because like we could really hear because some people in the theater weren't always the quietest. And that came out, I think, when it was dead silent in the theater.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was no sound during both tributes.
Both. Oh, the back credit tribute. Yeah. The music started after, yeah.
Yeah. And that was pretty cool to see and hear. And is that the only the second time they've ever changed the title sequence to be just one person?
So Stanley, just for one person, yeah. They've adjusted the title sequences for some uniqueness before. That I think it is that one and the Stan Lee one are the only two I could think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've definitely like done stuff to the title card to be funky in the past or whatever. But that is definitely a kind of unique sense, and it kind of was very visible as it was happening too. You're like, oh, this is painful.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, kind of the way that they did it was, I'm not gonna say unique because it was a tribute.
So I'm curious about this. We're gonna opinion of the film in a second, but I'm actually curious as we're kind of on this kind of initial topic. So the way they handled his death in the movie is very interesting to me because it's very akin to how he handled his death in real life, of like how secretive he was, kind of him in pain, all that.
Yep.
Do you think like all of these moments they cleared with the family first before they put in the film, or like how do you think they handled that part?
So here's what I genuinely think. Obviously, spoilers, because
yes,
we're just off this movie. Like, we literally just got back to the house.
Like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, and so there's two deaths in this movie. Obviously, Chadwick Boseman's real-life death, and then the death that I think was actually part of the script. Right? They kill off the queen. And the way that they do the tribute on where they tack it to the front makes me believe they had most of this movie shot before he died.
When did he die? It was 20, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. And
I don't know if they have it shot. I bet they would have been.
Yeah.
Because there's no way. Looking at Marvel's schedule, we know for a fact this was shooting last year. Like, even though they do reshoots, it sounded like first shots. It didn't sound like reshoots when they were filming this last year.
But they at least had a plan to kill off the queen.
Yeah, I agree. I think the queen was probably more of a plan. Probably Chadwick, this is one of those moments they had to throw the script out, basically, I bet you.
Yeah. But, so, here's what I'll give the film credit for, and kind of the key points that I want to talk about. The Black Panther franchise is the only franchise in Marvel, to me at least, that nails the costume design. It's
it nails
so
it.
unique. It's so cool. Like it's just so different than anything else that they do in other Marvel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's kind of the point that, like, if this film's gonna win anything, it should be costume design. Sound design is okay.
Not projectionist, by the way. Projectionist, whoever we had for those subtitles.
Yeah, that was just cropped weird. That wasn't on Marvel. That was on the AMC that we were at. And so costume design, and then I think the biggest thing that's actually a positive for the film is how they handled tying this in. Because even though it feels separate, it feels like it's going towards something.
So I'm gonna be honest here. I think that is solely just Martin Freeman and Louis Dreyfus, whatever his name is. I think it's like, I think that helped it feel something, right? Because we kept flashing back to those America moments,
Yeah.
and like him single-handedly stopping a world war, kind of, or trying to stop it or slow it down or whatever.
Yeah, I guess the thing that I point to is, like, we did Thor: Love and Thunder as well, and that felt like
it was isolated.
Yeah, it was completely isolated, and it didn't feel like it moved the Marvel Cinematic Universe forward at all.
Where this does, because it gives a sense of another super powerful nation. You could also see where Wakanda is kind of in the world, like the UN opening UN stuff, when basically the whole French government, and she goes, "Oh, and I have proof for you, and here are your spies. Come on down." Like that whole, that's such a good kind of like powerful.
Yeah, it really showcases what the Wakandans are capable of, and I think the thing to me that really helps advance the storyline is we actually get introduced to people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We get introduced to the new Black Panther. We get
Ironheart.
introduced to Ironheart, even though they never call her that.
Yeah, but like we know it's an Ironheart show, and we know like anyone knows the comics. That's Ironheart. Like her name's the right name. It's Ironheart.
Like,
Rita Williams, I think's her name for the movie.
Yeah, the only way that you would, I guess, deduce that is she cuts out a heart.
Yeah, but also if I said in Wakanda there's someone with technology, it's Ironheart. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And so we know, okay, there's at least characters. Whereas, like, Thor, it didn't introduce anyone new.
Or if it did,
Jane, but Jane's dead.
Zeus, and at the end where
Zeus and Hercules, but that felt so much like, oh, this is just going to be a Thor thing. This isn't going to be...
Yeah, it didn't feel like it mattered to the world.
Yeah.
Where, like, this, like, with the...
characters introduced feel like...
Yeah, like Namor and his people, like, you're like, oh, this could matter. Or we feel like there's something going on with, like, the American government and, like, that whole... Like, it feels almost... The American government, to me, stuff... Because we were talking about Winter Soldier on the way in. It felt almost Winter Soldier-y to me in the sense of, like, we feel there's some puppet stringy, like, unknown stuff happening kind of within the government.
Yeah. And I think this is the first time that... Is it the first time that the CIA has been directly named?
Yeah.
I think it's always been S.H.I.E.L.D., right? It's never been like, oh, the CIA is...
There was a group above S.H.I.E.L.D., but it was not the CIA. It was like the cabinet or something. It was some...
It's whoever it is.
Because the S.H.I.E.L.D. reported to the Secretary of Defense. I remember that.
Whereas, like, this is the first time that we get a look at...
And how do we feel that the first time they introduced the CIA, they immediately are like, so we're trying to destabilize the government?
Yeah, we want a destabilization.
And all of us in that theater was like, this feels too real.
A little nail on the head. Meanwhile, it's all being delivered by Julie Louis-Dreyfus, who has aged perfectly.
So you don't know obviously you don't watch the Marvel shows. This is your first introduction to her kind of in the MCU.
Yep.
So she's kind of, as far as we understand, kind of going in and like starting to make her own kind of super team. Her being kind of this weird foil to Martin Freeman, who like, even after everything he's been, is like this still optimist, like idealist within the government, is a very interesting like kind of shift, I think.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, like, look at... It's interesting, right? Because it feels very much like... I don't know what her character's name is. It very much feels like the director is trying to really, like you said, pull strings, but also, like... This ties back to stuff that's not even Marvel stuff. I mean, like, you look at a lot of projects that reference the CIA, it's always like, oh, there's something bigger going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's something bigger going on. And it's like, okay, yeah, like, in real life, yes, it's, you know, the CIA runs the show for a lot of stuff and a lot of those programs, but it's also one of these things where it's like, okay, there's something bigger, but what is it?
Right, and like...
It felt very much like they were using that as a...
time to question stuff. And I know it's Marvel's there, put new strings there, but this to me at least felt like we didn't get answers, but at least it felt like it made sense why we didn't get answers. Like,
yeah.
Like this film was already 2 hours and 40 minutes. I don't think we needed more answers in this film, I'm going to be honest here.
I mean, I think we could have cut that time down. Obviously...
I think it's harder to because they're trying to purposely make an emotional piece, and I think it's harder to... It's easy to cut time in like a comedy or even some action-y stuff. I think if you're trying to like bleed it out for the emotional stuff, like some of the scenes that would get cut are those super long, like 5-10 minute scenes of like in a grief moment. And I'm like, I don't know how you really cut that while keeping its impact going.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Is this film tries to do so much. It tries to be this super impactful film that's a fitting tribute to an actor that tragically passed. It's trying to continue the MCU and bring that forward. It's also trying to go, okay, you know, the first film really, what's the right word, like bolstered kind of the culture, especially in America. of that kind of black and proud
Mhm.
culture, which is something that, you know, it needs to be kind of more focused on here in the States because it was oppressed for so long. And I get it, right? Like, they want to be able to, do their thing too. And it felt like the first film really helped with that kind of bridging the gap between traditional nerd culture and bringing it into kind of a cooler scene. In this film, I feel like they wanted to keep doing that, and it's kind of the problem of Death by a Thousand Cuts. You try to do too much, and it's not going to succeed.
So I at least want to give this from a comment in that sense of, I at least, maybe there's argument of they probably stretched those a little too thin in this film, but I don't think they like try to go 10,000 direction at least. I think they try to go like maybe one too many.
Yeah, I think they went for 3 or 4. They probably should have gone for 2 or 3.
Like, if anything, I think the part that I'm the most torn on the satisfaction of this, kind of looking at the threads they lead, is the stuff with Namor, where that is a conclusion, but like that tease at the end of like the Americans coming after, I almost wish we closed a little more on seeing like with like someone in the U.S. government being like, we're gonna do X to Wakanda or whatever, or targeting it, like some level lead us more of like, give us a better sense that the government's actually gonna do this thing, not just him saying when they do it.
Yeah, because in the movie they never referenced that the Mayan tribe exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's never brought up to the CIA or to the Americans in general, other than the Wakandans hinting that there's someone else.
Right.
And I think
the way this film would have been impactful, like in a true way, is if this ended with the Wakandans and Americans having a true split. Like if this ended with like the decisions made here to protect like Namor and his people like truly split the Wakandans and Americans a little less neutrally, I think would have made a stronger like kind of decisions were made moment.
I feel like the reason that they didn't do that is they want that impactful scene similar to what they had in Infinity War.
Yeah, where it ends with
where like everyone is in Wakanda.
Yeah, and the snap happens.
Like they want that scene.
Yep.
They want Namor and his tribe.
But the reason that scene was impactful, though, was because that's how you ended the film. Part of its impact on Infinity War was you do that and you go to credits.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, that's part of that impact.
Yeah. And, it feels like they're trying to set that up, but they've done that, right? Like, their playbook is open at this point. We can read it.
So I do want to give a comment, speaking of their playbook, while we're on this, is... So there was a complaint for a while of Marvel for introduction movies or kind of this like movies where you're kind of facing yourself with different powers. So Black Panther 1's obviously very notorious for doing this. Iron Man 1 like this, like you're facing the same guy. I think there was a good separation of Namor's powers, and there was parallels there, but there was a good separation of like they're both vibranium, but they're both very different. That at least made them feel like they're not fighting the same person.
Yeah, one of them's a god, like a literal god.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is possessed by the herb.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're both herb. That's we both get their power. So is the herb.
Yeah, but Namor was born with it, and he is truly a god. Like he
right. Doesn't age. He doesn't do all this stuff.
Doesn't age. He flies around like. Which. The fight between Namor and Black Panther left so much to be desired.
So I think the 1-on-1 is, I'll give you the weak part. I think the leading into the 1-on-1 I think was pretty cool. Like all the air stuff, all of the like the big battlefield stuff, I think was kind of where it really shined.
Yes. Like
I could do the 1-on-1, I was like, this could be more. But like the like big fight, like kind of right before all that happened, when you see Ironheart, you see all of Dormammu come out in their new armor and stuff, like that moment I think was really kind of cool.
Yeah. I think what the the thing they could have done to make that one-on-one even more cinematic, I guess, or feel right, feel's probably the better word, is lean into the Killmonger stuff. Right?
Like have him over her shoulder or something.
Well, he talks about, which, by the way, Killmonger's in this, although spiritually only. He talks about vengeance, and how Suri is all about vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have just done so much if she just spears Namor, kills him, and then that sets off.
Yeah, but there's at least So, my issue is, if she kills Namor, I don't know how that ends without all of the Wakandans in the ship dying. So then you have to give up everyone.
They don't... Well, so here's how you do it, is the movie ends with that shot of...
Them being surrounded.
Them being surrounded, the Wakanda Forever, it cuts to black. And that leads into everyone figuring out that there's another...
Yeah.
Another, vibranium group. And... Because they're going to have to figure it out at some point. So for them to be exposed on the grand stage like that...
I really wonder with the Thunderbolts being a movie we know exists, and that's the where Luke Drives comes from and stuff, is I wonder if this will somehow connect to that, just because it would make a lot of sense with her kind of being on the cusp of figuring out there's something else going on and stuff.
Yeah, which, obviously, right, she mentions that she had bugged the...
Right, so she knows everything.
So she knows that there's...
Something. Martin Freeman doesn't know either. So none of them fully know, but there's at least something.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the problem of, okay, how do you... The problem with the MCU and the problem with film franchises in general is how do you end them, right?
Right.
They want to keep doing more phases. They want to keep doing more shows. They want to keep doing more movies.
And, part of it, I think, at least, helps to control that, right? So just so you're aware, if you didn't know, this is the end of Phase 4. This film's the final Phase 4 film.
Which doesn't feel like it.
Oh, no, I will at least give that. But, what's interesting to me, though, is at least we know kind of what the next Avengers we're building towards. We at least kind of have an idea of what these next pieces are we're building towards, which I think helps. Where I think kind of even 3 or 4 months ago, and we were just talking about, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and I think Thor either was, coming out right around when we learned about the rest of these phases or whatever, that at that point, everyone just kept being okay, we know it's Kang because we saw it in Loki, but there's still no broad sense of what is going on.
Yeah.
And that was when the Secret Wars was rumors, not confirmed. It was this weird stuff where, okay, but how did these all connect and thing? And I'm still weird because... They announced 2 Avengers films that are back-to-back, but it's not like Infinity War Endgame where it's the same thing. They're very different films, so the question is, does the team we know get split? Do they kind of go, have too much adrenaline, too much?
Here's my question, right? Unless someone was on top of it the way that you are, would they know that this was the end of a phase?
No, but...
No.
My question, But my point to at least, as comparison, is some of the other phases had weird endings. So my example is Phase 2. Everyone thinks ends with Avengers Age of Ultron, but it doesn't. That one ends with Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So that to me is a good...
But also we had a Avengers already with the crew.
Right.
So you knew how people tied together.
Mm-hmm.
Phase 4, I don't know how anything ties together.
In a weird way, if I was changing orders, I would almost twist things and would have had Phase 4 end with, Spider-Man, TBH.
Oh, I would have
because I think
done Doctor Strange, because being able to open up the multiverse like that.
Okay, well, both open. I guess Strange is dealing with the repercussions of Spider-Man, so that might be fair. But the point is, I would do with one of those to kind of, piece out these multiverse things a little more. Kind of just to explain, because Thor would have been a horrible ending, because Thor doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And to be fair, so technically is the last movie of Phase 4. There is the Guardians holiday special coming in December. So in a weird way, they could have found a way to close it, we don't know, but I just really doubt it.
Yeah, because, I mean, Guardians they were in Thor for, 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense, because obviously Thor was with them at some point.
Which is also the thing I want to throw in. That's the thing I was probably disappointed in that one too, is because I wanted as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Which is what they're called in the comics when you throw Thor in there.
And I think part of the problem with Black Panther that I hope gets talked about is the way that it's made and the way that it plays out. This could have happened anytime.
Which I don't think is... we have some level of groundedness. Like, we know it has to be at least a year or two after Endgame.
Yeah. I guess that's what I mean, right? Like,
anytime after Endgame, this could have easily happened.
It could have happened any time between Endgame and when it is set, or when the most future movie is set, because there's nothing that ties it to anyone else. It doesn't say anything about other events happening. Like,
which too, I'm trying to think of this phase. I'm just trying to make sure of things that it could point to, because I guess it could point to the infamous one that no one points to, which is the Eternals. That's probably the only thing it could point to.
Well, I think even Marvel is ready to ditch the Eternals.
I think we all were the moment the film came out.
Yeah, I think bombed.
The Eternals is the second worst box office, I think, for the MCU.
It's also, I think, their worst rated movie.
I believe that.
At 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. But back to Black Panther, like this film is... I might get some hate for this. This film is like a 6.5.
I think it's higher. I think it's a bit higher, but so I'm gonna say the thing I'll get hate is I think I like this more than the original Black Panther. So I'm not super on the original Black Panther. I think Killmonger is really cool in the original Black Panther.
Yeah.
I think there's generally speaking really good acting, as we saw in this film. Like, we have really good actors in these films. But I think the first Black Panther, I think's a little weird on like how they're handling the story, and Killmonger stuff's a little grayish, kind of what happened, and even like their stuff of like when he comes down and they're like, maybe it's a sense of how they talk about how T'Challa was like too royal, because like the way he handles some of the Killmonger stuff, I'm like, it really feels weird in that film looking back. Also, the CG in Black Panther one does not hold up if you go back and look at it. Just go see that infamous train scene at the end of the film. Also, you'll just see the green screen.
A lot of the CGI in Wakanda Forever was very apparent. I will say this, that some of the stuff that they did practical looked absolutely amazing. They did some stuff that they really haven't done in terms of camera techniques and true, like, off sticks, shaky cam, like even like Winter Soldier didn't have it to this extent where there's a lot of super close-ups and it's clear that it's Coogler and his DP like holding on to the camera by its sides basically and trying to pull focus. And
how do you feel watching this film and realizing now that because of this film and this stuff, that is the reason that Coogler is no longer doing Creed? Like, do you feel this is a better use of his talents, or Creed was a better use of his talents?
I mean, that's two different things, because Creed and Creed 2, and how Creed 2 is looking to pan out.
Wait, that's Creed
3.
Yeah.
I guess, 2, and how 3's panning out. Looking to pan out. Those are films that are shot in more of an old school style.
It's a shot like Rocky, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in many ways it was shot like the Rocky films, but Black Panther is so heavily green screened and CG that it's two completely different styles, and I feel like he could be on both projects but they're worried about getting them out on time.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for that...
Which is funny, because Creed 3 got delayed to hell back to next year, so I think it's ironic, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, the Chadwick Boseman passing changed a lot of...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we need to basically reshoot Black Panther, rewrite it and reshoot it, because now our main is dead, literally. How do we do that? Okay. Coogler's a writer on this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to think about that and take that into consideration and go, okay, I need to rewrite most of this movie because I already wanted the Queen to die off, but now I'm losing
Black Panther.
my main character. I don't even have that piece to play with anymore, so how do I do that? And to me, some of this stuff towards the end of the film felt like, hey, we need a scene with this character to make this feel impactful.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do it? And they do it, and those really don't land. Including when Siri's supposed to be anointed or baptized or whatever as
Black Panther.
leader and as Black Panther. And it's like, okay, they can't make it, they kindly send their regards, cool. And then we find out why.
But my question is, so I understand it was flowing back to the original film, when he's like, and I want to challenge for leader. Who's he challenging?
I think... So here's what I actually think. Those challenges are for a king.
Yeah, but who's
It's
he
not for
challenging?
Black Panther,
Sure,
it's
but
for king.
who's he challenging? There is no leader.
Yeah, so I think he's saying I challenge because there's no challenger, so he becomes king. And obviously they never expand on it, so we don't know what the actual meaning behind that is. And then they have the kid, and here's what I forgot. I mean, it's partially because of how Wakanda Forever handles some of their characters. I forgot that Suri, however you say her name, and I can't think of her name, the spy, they're like sister-in-law.
Yeah.
I had forgotten.
I don't know if they're formally, but yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
She was married to T'Challa.
Was she actually married?
Yeah, they say that.
Okay.
And so I had forgotten that they were sister-in-laws. Because then they have like some female-to-female relationships that, like, whatever, like, that's not a problem, who cares? It's like, okay, yeah, and then you're starting to watch, like, the relationship between the spy and Suri, and you're like, okay, how are they related, friends,
right,
whatever relationship, like, what's that? Because it kind of gives off a couple different vibes, and I'm sure watching it back, it's like, okay, under that understanding, this makes a lot more sense. And so I feel like some of that stuff was a little
wonky.
like, okay, I guess I needed to remember how some of this happened.
Which, too, I would at least argue that I think some of that I agree with you might be a little not best explained. I think this film, otherwise, though, does a decently good job of at least pretty fast explain to the viewer, even if they don't fully know who someone is, why they matter. Like even like some of the other tribal leaders, you don't fully know all their backgrounds. You could kind of get a rough idea, kind of like who these people are or where they are in the power system or all that. I think that at least kind of, to me, felt at least decently explained to people.
Which, speaking of the power structure, that's something that I don't know why they don't expand on more. I guess they did in the first one, but not a lot. The tribes are so different.
Mm-hmm.
And like from what we're told, Wakanda's a fairly small country.
But a small country could still be 100 miles, 50... Like, they could still be, like...
But there's 6 tribes, I believe.
That sounds right.
And they go from the mountains to the
See,
sea.
basically.
River. I wish I knew more about the certain tribes, right? Because, like, there's the scene in the first one where T'Challa goes to each tribe
To basically get their blessing.
to get their blessing to become king
Mm-hmm.
and Black Panther. And it just felt like they kind of explained who they were then. I could have used a refresher because it's been
Yeah.
6 years.
It almost, to me, the way you introduce that is, we have this intro funeral scene. They should have, like, some level of gone to each of the tribes, or, like, the tribes kind of, in their more tribalness, kind of each of them present, like, some sort of gift, or, I'm sorry, like, some sort of, like, condolences.
Some way to, like, identify who they are.
Yeah.
Which I'm really curious, because it was practical, and the guy definitely was from one of the tribes.
You're talking about the guy with
the guy with the hoops.
Yeah.
Like, first off, damn, his English is amazing.
Especially for, like, yeah.
For, most of those tribes aren't really in areas that would have interacted with English. It probably would have been French or German or Dutch. So he was great in it for his little bit. I wanted more of, like, those traditional vibes.
Mm-hmm.
He was really the only one. They had the one lady that, she was the tribal leader that had the dreads that looked like they were clayed.
Yeah, that was the one that, another one that kind of threw me off. Kind of, so the look was so different.
Yeah, I was like, that's really cool. Like, I want to know more about, like, are they mud people? Or, are they, like, what's their relationship with other tribes? And, this and that. And this film just doesn't explain that. It also doesn't explain why we should care about any of the people from, I'm going to call it Atlantis.
Yeah, I forget the name, yeah. Namor and his people.
Yeah, Namor's group. Why should we care about his goons? Like,
yeah, like, they tried to humanize, like, the one who wanted to really fight, one who wanted to fight. But my issue is, whose vibes I kept getting from her? The one of Thanos' mini-bosses.
Yeah.
That's, like, it felt like the same vibe to me.
It totally felt like they wanted to go for that, because they had 3, like...
But, like, but hers really felt to me like the one, like...
Yeah, it felt like, hey, we want this one that's...
And I think that's my other problem, too, is, to me, I think you left Namor too strong. Like, I still, if you would have had, I think if you put Namor versus Wakanda, my money is still on Namor.
Yeah.
Like, and that's my point. Like, sure, they beat him, but they didn't beat...
Even with one of his wings clipped.
Yeah.
Which they don't really go into...
Because also, those water bombs just seem dummy good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those things...
Obviously, right, water is the strongest element out there. And so it makes sense that the water tribe is going to be so strong.
But the amount of how strong they are, like, it feels to me that...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I do not believe that... Like, she could have killed him, totally, we got to that point. But everyone else will be dead. Like, there's no, like... And also, especially the stuff when you start bringing, like, the whales and stuff, like, I don't understand how...
Yeah. And also, like, they didn't go into how... They mention that there's sirens as part of Namor's group.
Right.
But they don't ever go into...
And they show them, too, but I want more.
Why they have them?
Yeah,
or
like...
how they got them, or...
The siren powers I would like an explanation on.
Yeah. Like, Namor's group you'd know nothing about, other than... Okay, they drank their version of the heart, or...
Rex, it's the vibranium dirt that had a thing, yeah.
They drank their version of the Black Panther juice, and it poisoned them and turned them into fish people.
Which reminds me, I looked at Rich, and I made the joke, and I was able to make it to you. When they turned into fish people, I looked at Rich and I went, are we watching Avatar?
I thought the same thing.
They're too avid. I know, Disney, you're trying to save money because you're trying to use the same CGI, but, like, maybe a little color shading would be nice.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is just Avatar color. Which, what they don't explain is why on land they're blue and water they're normal.
This is yes, that also...
Their normal skin color, because, like, okay, yes, they're descendants of the Mayans.
But then it should be a consistent skin color.
For all intents and purposes, they were tan white people.
Which would, yeah, they should be a little darker, but it roughly makes sense. Like, it's not, like, that part at least isn't that.
Yeah, that's not crazy. It's when they come onto land and they're these, like, full-on... What was the guy from Hellboy?
The guy from...
The fish from Hellboy.
Oh, God, we watched it from, didn't we?
Like, it's that kind of style of, like, oh, they're just fish people. Like, we're not introduced to them being anything other than fish blue until Shuri goes down to see.
Which, that was cool. I want to point out, that was actually... I liked that whole dynamic.
Yeah.
And seeing Atlantis in its glory, or whatever we're calling it.
Yeah, I'm going to call it Atlantis because it's some Mayan name, and there's no way I would remember it. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, this film is so... It wants to be so much more. It really does. And it could reach that point.
And I think it's close. Like, I don't actually think it's that...
It's very close.
It's not that... Like, I don't think we're saying this is a bad film by any stretch. And I think it's a decently entertaining film. But it definitely feels like they're reaching for some straws I don't think they quite earned or got to, or...
It's like their finish line was at the 99-meter mark and not the 100-meter mark. Like, it's almost there. Like, it's practically there. But there's just something that kind of drags it down. And I don't think it's necessarily on Black Panther, the reasoning behind it. I think it's more of a Marvel problem of it just felt like they pumped out so much content. And it felt like it went nowhere. Right? Like, I feel like, you know, I don't know where any of the characters are. I don't know where, you know, what Thor's doing, what Black Widow and her sister are doing.
Well, Black Widow's dead, but...
Yeah. Her sister, I guess. Like,
Yolanda, I think?
I don't know what anyone's really doing, and how am I supposed to get behind this group as the new Avengers?
Which, to be fair, I'll at least give the top line of when we went into the first Avengers, we at least kind of had those threads too. We're like, okay, how does all these people connect?
They were at least tying together because, like...
Not super well.
Well,
like, Cap, I don't think tied super well together, and Thor even, like, didn't tie super...
everything got tied together through Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Right, so, like, we had a common character.
Yeah, but, like, Elaine from Seinfeld, for the TV shows, has starting to be that character. So. Which,
the problem is they're forcing people now to interact with their streaming service and their TV shows. Like, I get it. That's how you get people to watch your stuff. But also, you should be making these movies workable if you only go see the movies.
Which maybe we'll see other films that don't. I at least think this film did a reasonable, like even if you didn't know if I knew more about Elaine Seinfeld than you did, you had a very fast idea of, like, who is this person? Like, it seemed very obvious. Oh, she's someone in a position of authority in the government. She's some level in charge of some teams. Like, it's a very, like, boom, boom, boom.
It's like, okay, she's the director of the CIA, and DOD and the president want to go after Wakanda.
Right.
Cool.
That's all I need to know.
And her ex-husband is
Is Martin Freeman, who we've seen a few times in different films.
Yeah, he's the guy that is, like, the liaison with Wakanda. So, you know, he does his thing. Julie Louis-Dreyfus is the ultimate cougar. And so we at least have something there, right? It's not like Thor, where it's like, cool, so he's gonna fight Hercules at some point,
right? But it didn't feel like that mattered at all.
How does this tie into what's happening on Earth and, you know, the Guardians and any of that? Like, Thor felt like
truly isolated.
Thor felt like a movie that doesn't need the Marvel branding. In the sense of it was its own thing. Black Panther Wakanda Forever
At least feels it.
feels like it
exists.
needs the Marvel branding because...
Except it'd be funny, because we could have reasonably, I think, when we were doing a little work, without fully editing the film, we could have reasonably removed all those US scenes, kind of, at least those kind of government-y scenes, and the film, I think, would still 90% work, and then it wouldn't feel connected. Like, I truly think those scenes are the anchor point.
Yeah. Yeah, anything at Langley that ties it back to, okay, this is at least happening on an Earth, right? Obviously, the multiverse gives us a bunch of Earths.
Sure, but we broadly assume it's our Earth based on how everything's been. Like, this at least, like, seemed like, okay, this is us, this is what we know, and...
I will say, I did notice when they showed Anderson Cooper, I saw something about New Asgard going on the ticker.
Okay.
So, like, okay, so...
Because that was the kids got attacked in New Asgard for Thor.
Yeah.
And then remember that is
So
New
maybe
Zealand.
that ties into it, but...
I also got to point out, too, AJ, how do you feel about Mr. Johnny Bootlegger over there?
It's a strawberry shop. There's not a lot to it.
He's drinking a nice malt liquor we found in my liquor cabinet that I picked up in the nice, friendly state of Oklahoma.
It's not the typical malt liquor I'm used to. This is some 40s.
That ain't no 40, son.
No, this is 6.8, 200 mils. Johnny Bootlegger.
And it's strawberry flavored.
Strawberry flavored, which is very strawberry flavored. It's from Laval, Quebec.
It's a Canadian thing?
Shady Shades Strawberry is the name of it. Imported by someone in Rochester, New York. And there's no ingredients because it's a liquor. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Anyway, I would rate Johnny Bootlegger at like a 5. I would rate Wild Turkey Rare Breed like a 7.5.
Yeah.
And I would rate Black Panther Wakanda Forever at, if I'm going to go on the 20-point scale, so only half, like a 6.5. I think it's closer to a 7, but it doesn't reach 7.
I think it's more that 7-ish to me.
Which, you know, it's tough, right? Like, if you round, you would round up. But I don't feel like it does enough for me to deserve rounding up. Like, if I was getting granular, I'd say it's probably like a 6.7, 6.8 in that neighborhood. It's close to a 7.
Yeah.
But there's things that's like, I just can't give it that 7. Or really anything higher than that. I could maybe be talked into a 7, but it would have to be like a damn good argument. I'm fully comfortable with a 6.5. Right, like falling back to the 6.5 because it does, to me, I guess my scale is a little bit different because I think a lot of people, their scale is like, oh, well, if it's like, if the movie is actually a movie, it's automatically a 5. I think a lot of people are on kind of that scale. For me, a 5 is just like no major holes in it. And then you build from there. This film doesn't really have any major holes in it.
There's like minor stuff, but nothing.
Yeah. Visuals are good. Although when they transition to the CGI stuff,
It has its
from
moments.
practical, you're like, okay, I can definitely notice.
Which,
Costumes are on point. I mean,
there is actually one plot hole that was bugging me to the point of bringing up as we're getting to tail into this.
Yeah.
Is, how is it that by sea he can get past Wakanda's defenses?
yeah, they never really cover that. Like, they talk about sonic barriers in that.
The 100 meters, whatever that was.
Yeah.
But, like, they never, like, to me, like, that one felt...
It doesn't really matter. I mean, other than him invading Wakanda the only time, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, he's super strong.
Yeah, but hear me out, though. Thanos couldn't get past them. Like, he had to, like, work to get past them.
Yeah. But Thor could get past him.
When? Oh, because he could teleport. But he teleported. But Namor's not teleporting. I think that's a difference to me. Like, you think you teleport somewhere, I'm at least willing to give you a better pass, right? You have teleportation powers. This one, he was swimming.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if it's a sonic barrier, like it was shown in the film, right? Like, they can overcome the sonic issues. Not easily,
but like they should have been alerted then, and the Wakandans weren't even alerted.
Yeah.
And that's part of it too to me. Like, if you want to say, "Oh, we saw someone and then they just appeared," I get that.
Yeah. Which I will say that the scene of the sirens, the first time you see them,
that's terrifying.
At the research vessel, reminded me of what film was that? A fairly recent one about special forces where they come up from the water.
Mm-hmm.
And like anytime I see stuff like that, I'm just reminded of those shots of like the SEALs and the Green Berets like coming up from the water,
mm-hmm.
and like they drop a dude and they catch him before he falls in the water.
So you don't hear him.
And this and that, like, so it's always a cool like tactical like, well, they infiltrated through the water and they poke their heads up and they can see or whatever, and you know, other than that, it's like, okay, they know how to bend water or whatever, so they're undetectable. Sure, whatever. Like, that part didn't bug me. It's a plot hole. It's a small plot hole. It's whatever. But yeah, costumes are on point. The women look amazing. You know, it at least ties itself into something,
mm-hmm.
right? It doesn't have to be tying itself towards Thor, or tying itself towards Ant-Man, or
mm-hmm.
anything, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be tied to a film, but it at least goes, okay, the real world exists.
Right.
And Thor didn't do that at all. And obviously that's my most recent point of reference for that stuff. So, but yeah, like I said, 6.5. It could be a 7, but some of its downfalls make it fall down to that 6.5. Other than that, Mike's still trying to finish his rare breed. He's like choking it down.
Ah. Almost wrong pipe on that one.
Can't put some hair on his chest. He definitely doesn't have any. But other than that, you can check us out. Mike checks to see if he has any chest. I definitely do, because I haven't trimmed in a while. You can check us out on all your favorite podcast feeds. There will be some other stuff up on your feeds that sounds a little bit like this, because we are going downtown Chicago.
Down the town?
So.
Yeah, we will be at the Bit Bash tomorrow when we're recording this.
Yeah, so we're recording this. This will go up whenever it goes up. And then
next week, probably. Next week.
The stuff from going around town will be up whenever that gets edited. So it will be a good time and fun time, Noodle Salad, was it?
Fun time.
What did Bacalar used to say? Fun times, Noodle Salad, good times, Noodle Salad, something like that. I think it was a reference to Seinfeld or Frasier or something like that he screwed up.
Are you talking about the I see the blues are calling, the salad and scrambled it?
Like yeah, I guess go see Black Panther.
Yeah, I'd say go see it. I think that's about. I think it's cool enough to see in theaters. Like, it has some cool facts. I think theater would do it pretty well.
Yep.
If you can, just walk in after Nicole Kidman's done with her shit. But
if you go to an AMC, this one I would recommend go see. Obviously, Black Adam we've talked about. That's definitely a nod.
But this one, I genuinely think.
Yeah.
And I think you might need like a touch point of knowing Black Panther or something to fully get something like the fullness out of it. But I think as a whole, it's a pretty approachable.
I think seeing the original Black Panther before you see Wakanda Forever can at least put some reference.
But I generally do not believe you'll be that lost if you
No.
haven't. Like, I think they're pretty good of, like...
Yeah, I'd kind of forgotten most of Black Panther and was totally fine.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah, I think that is it. We will see you guys, the usual, every Friday. We will be streaming mostly throughout the end of the year. On Wednesday, there's some weird schedule-y stuff because the holiday's coming up. And then we'll be back the normal next year. Keep an eye out. We'll announce some new game stuff. And I think that is it. I am Mike. Follow me at Mikey_Mroney. Follow AJ at AJ_Losi. You can follow the show at the SWW Show. And remember, it was anchor.fm/SWW, but go check your feeds. I think it's now like technically Spotify. Just go search the SWW Show. And on YouTube, it is now youtube.com/ YouTube changed this, so I think it's youtube.com/ at the SWW Show is our YouTube handle. If you search SWW, it should pop up. But I think that's YouTube sent me an email today that they changed their thingy thing.
You gotta claim your creator tags. So I had to claim like 18 creator tags.
Ours was automatic. It just had me confirm it, but ours was there already, which I didn't think we had a custom URL, so I was extra confused by us having a creator tag, so it was really weird. But it's YouTube. YouTube, no one fully understands.
Well, I think it's because I have a custom URL, so I
That
think it's part of my YouTube Studio stuff. But anyway, yeah, you can find us on all your favorite socials. Just search SWW Show, and we will see y'all
next time. The SWW Show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by our contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW Show on social media at the SWW Show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.